So welcome to the Weekend Handyman. Today I am working on a more interesting project than you've probably seen elsewhere. This is an Oshkosh concrete mixer. This particular one is an older one. It is a 1997 Oshkosh S series. The exact model is an S2346, if that actually means something to you. But it is, the basics are, it's an Oshkosh concrete mixer manufactured in 1997. So it is an older one, but it still works good. If you've never been up close to one of these, it is on the larger side. It is 13.3 tall, and with the chutes folded and pushed all the way to the side, it's probably between 30 and 35 feet long. So it's kind of tough to get all of it in camera. But this is in fact what I drive and operate every day. Just this past year I recently joined my family's business and now drive this one. Same mixer, this time from the back. As you can see, she is pretty big. Yeah. These are the parts catalogs and the service manuals for my 1997 Oshkosh mixer and its twin 97 mixer. You know, like I said, if that means anything to you, those are the parts catalogs and the service manuals for the twin 97s that are right here. But anyways, the project that I'm working on is sort of a fun extracurricular activity that I decided to do, and I'm going to mount a musical horn to it. It plays a particular tune, which you'll get to hear at the end, hopefully. But yeah. We're up under the cab. My plan is to mount the horns in this sort of blank space right here, which the brake pedal and gas pedal are over here. This is the little horn. The normal air horns are back here. This is the drum control cables right here. But there's plenty of space right in this section here over the air lines and hydraulic lines and whatnot to mount the air horn and its little compressor pump to pump air through them. So I'm going to make a quick bracket, and I got to drill some holes in this piece of metal right here. It should be aluminum because the cab was aluminum, and I'll just have to bolt it up and then wire it. So because I have the space, my mounting bracket and setup is pretty simple. So all I'm going to do is take this flat bar of steel and run my horns straight across it like this, and just take the whole thing and mount it under the cab. Each one of these horns does have a little bolt hole with a slot in it that you would slot a bolt into. So all I'll have to do is mark 4 evenly spaced holes across this bar, and then drill the holes and get the proper bolt to fit the slot in here, and then I'll be able to crank them down a little bit with a nut. And then on these horns I have airline inlets that the airline gets hooked to. The kit comes with a section of air hose. This is the kit that I bought. It's air source. It's a little compressor that pumps air out the top down into each horn at the right time. If you take this apart, there's a little plate, I think, in there that spins around and has the holes that are timed to make this particular song that your air horn is for. This is a Wolo air horn setup. There's a couple different manufacturers, but on my red Jeep, which you can see on the channel here, I also have a Wolo musical horn set up on that as well. That one plays Dixie. This one, I might as well say it plays tequila. So I've had a slight change of plans with the bracket system I'm going to make to mount it on the mixer chassis. I found a big piece of steel that had a corner, 90-degree corner on it. So I cut 13 inches of it out, and to make it into an L bracket like this, so that I can actually mount the air horns facing down like the instructions call for. And because I made it extra long, I'll be able to take the air compressor and with a long upright be able to mount it just like that. And then this whole bracket can be bolted to this truck that I'm mounting this on, or a different truck, as long as I just drill some new holes in the chassis. Which leads me to the fact that I have actually changed where I'm going to mount it. Instead of mounting it over here under the cab, I'm going to mount it behind the cab under the big cross member right here on the chassis. Okay, I am up under the mixer. I'm behind the front axle. That is what is right there. And this is the new spot for the bracket system that I made for the horns and the air compressor. That is the big cross member that goes up behind the cab. Before I was choosing to, or trying to get them to mount up in front of the normal air horns, which are those right there. It would have been just ahead of that, pointed back this way. But I decided to look around some more and decided that this would be a much better location because I have much more room. I could point them down. I can get the air compressor all on the same bracket, so there'll be air hoses that run from up on top of the air compressor down to the trumpets. And then the wiring isn't too bad. I just have to follow one of these looms over there to get everything to where I need to get it. So I just need to drill some holes in my bracket and drill a couple holes in the cross member and get this bolted in place so that I could get the air hose mounted and then run some wires. Okay, I've probably skipped the couple steps since the last time I had the camera on, but the bracket is painted red. The trumpets are all mounted, compressor's mounted. I ran all of my hose. The only thing left to do is fit it up under the chassis where I prepared to mount it and get it mounted. I drilled some 1/2-inch holes over here. Had to oblong this one a little bit so it lines up. But I got some 1/2-inch bolts over there. Gonna get them greased up with some rust-proof grease and crank down on it with some nuts and some probably lock washers to make sure it doesn't loosen up on me, and be good to go. Oh, I did test it. Definitely works. Okay, so I am now up in the cab of the concrete mixer. Down there are the foot pedals. I found a rubber grommet over in the corner there. You can't really see it, but there are some cables that go through a grommet right there that I was able to sneak my power wire up through. So I'm going to allow it to follow the cables over here and bring it up and bring it up to the dash and mount my momentary switch right about here. It's clean on this side. There's no idiot lights that come on there, and behind it is completely clear. So I have the momentary switch over there, and I have my drill bit over here. This is just some kind of plastic, so it should go right through. I'm going to aim my drill bit right there. I don't have a cameraman right now, but hole is drilled, so I'm just going to take this momentary switch, feed it up from behind somewhere. Oop. And that'll be where the switch is. So now I just have to mount that with the nut and find a power source and a ground. Okay, here's a better view of the cab. The fuse box on this particular truck is up under the dash over here. I have the seat all the way down, so it's just easier to work in here. Again, there's the pedals for reference. I have found a fuse that works when the key is on. So what I'm gonna do is, somebody's already done some high school wiring under here, so I'm not really affecting anything that's not already messed up. But one of these open spots over here gets power when the key is turned on, and I can ground off of that screw right there that somebody has already Done some high school wiring in here before in the past. So that's the plan. Oh, it does, the kit comes with a relay. It's a pretty simple relay. It just, gets a 12-volt single and then shuts the big switch to send juice down to the horns, or trumpets I should say. Nothing particular there, it's a pretty simple relay. Okay, I finished up the wiring. I just need to stick a few zip ties under there and cut the zip ties underneath. But it does work. So I have it set up so the key does have to be on. And I just have to push this button. And there you have it. I have a concrete mixer that plays tequila. Alright, I'm up underneath the truck again. This brand new black wire there. It's just the red wire covered in some sheathing. Runs from where those cables come out all the way along the big loom down there to over the top of the axle. There's a cross member over there that it goes on top of to where the horns are. So then up under here behind the front axle, that's where the trumpets and the compressor are. You can see my main wire that I just have to tuck that sheathing on. Comes up to the compressor, it's grounded right there, and that's where the music comes from. So that'll finish up this episode of the Weekend Handymen. If you like what you see, make sure you like the video, subscribe to our channel. There's various interesting things. This is just one of them that I've done and that we've done as a group. Leave a comment down below, tell me that I'm crazy, because I usually am. But yeah, this concrete mixer plays the opening or main chorus of the song Tequila. Just a quick walk around of the other mixers that are here. This is my truck's twin 97. This one is my 97. It's numbered to 28. This one is my father's. It's an 02. It's in need of a drum. It's getting its drum changed this winter. So there are 3 on this side. On the other side of the garage, there are a few more trucks. Usually that is parked over here, but we had to switch a couple things around at one point. This truck is the spare truck. This one is actually a 94 Oshkosh mixer truck. Same cab and engine as 97s, but the catwalk's a little bit different. It's a 94. There's only one of those. This is my father's twin truck. This is also an 02. This one over here is a newer one. This is an 07 Oshkosh truck. So it's a little bit newer than the 02s and 97s. And that is this truck's twin. This is also an 07.